Hello, welcome back. My name is Gabriel. I'm a Late Leaders Youth podcaster, and this can be one of the last interviews that I do with Light. I started about a year or so ago with the interviewing and with leading some of these interviews with some of the amazing people we've interviewed, from welding to health to phlebotomy to everything in between. And it's been a really great journey to do that and be a part of the light programming. So it's been a great gift and privilege to be there and to engage with the community in this way. And this will be my last interview, like I said, and this is really going to be about just sharing a little bit about what kind of how I got into doing a lot of the things that I do, and talking about some of the stressors and how I've been able to deal with some of that stress. But when I first got started in in leadership, and before I got to be very busy, because with leadership, there's something people need to understand, is that it takes time to build up to become leading a team of 20 people, or engaging with a lot of people in a lot of different facets of what you're doing, and working with your assets and all that kind of stuff. And so that's something where, um as a leader, I started when I was pretty young. I was 13, and I've been asked to be the president for a leadership group. And that was something that really kind of changed my perspective from, like, what is in it for me, but to, like, how can I add to something? What can I not only give, but what can I take away, right? And so it changed my mindset from me, all the time me, to, like, well, I'm here for me, right? I'm here to lead and to learn and to benefit. There's a lot of benefit, but I'm also here to give and to create and to build. And that's something that really helped change my mindset, which always been very me centered, to, like, well, this is an us thing. This is where we're here to develop. We're here to help people, and rather than just one person. So I thought that was a really important mindset change that happened as a result of me going into leadership and in getting that space and culture. And it was something that kind of happens gradually. It's like a snowball effect, that once you start something and you learn that you love it, it's really hard to stop, or to um, you know stay just little committed. I mean, you start becoming very committed to the leadership and the culture and aspects of that. So that's something that I truly loved. And as I got more involved in the community, I did a lot of volunteer work, which I think is the best thing for people to do. So for anyone who's looking to grow in leadership and to develop as a person and as a leader, the first thing you got to do is get there and work and work hard. So that's what I did. I'd be the one volunteering at whatever thing needed volunteering at. And that's what I still try to do today. I think the hallmark of a good leader is one who's not too good to get down and dirty, or to get working with volunteering with people, and to even because a lot of people think leadership is the high level, like, oh, you lead this. Well, you lead, so you're obviously the one in the office. But I don't think that's how real leaders always need to remember where they started. So where I started, that was volunteering. That was helping people out with where I volunteered at food pantries. I volunteered with different nonprofits, and that's the thing. You got to recognize that leadership is not always being being the one in the boardroom leading the meeting. A lot of it can be being that example, being the person who says, hey, there's this need, let's go volunteer here. Or hey, there's this person needs a kind word. Like, that's leadership. That's being a leader. So that's something I got really busy in. I started volunteering with a lot of different community organizations. That's something that I truly thank my parents for supporting me with all the programs that I did, because I got involved in a lot of different volunteer programs, which all of them are really great. Inherently, I think service is one of the best things that you can do. As a person, that's something that is very important to do and to help people with and to serve them. But yeah, so that's something that I would do a lot of. I would serve and volunteer, and I think it's still very important. But as I moved and grew into leadership and being a leader, I started taking on more leadership style roles where I was leading a team, and I would have team members who would report to me with their different responsibilities. And that's something that started happening and again, like I said, leadership is a snowball effect. So that's something that started happening as I studied leadership more and saw what I liked, and it was mentored by a lot of different leaders and role models. That's something that I started um, developing and started leading my own teams, where I again I named the co-president of a teen advisory board, and then I was also elected to be the chairman of a youth council. So that's something that um, collectively I was managing about teams of about 20 people. So that's something where we had, you have to learn about delegation. I had to learn about, communication, how to tell people, encourage people to do a better job. Because something that a lot of people don't realize about leadership is that you can't be the one to just outright say, "Hey, bad job, you're terrible," like because that's not how you motivate someone to do better. By telling them they're bad, you're telling them something very negative. Well, when you say, "Hey, let's consider this," you're showing them that there's maybe a better option that they haven't considered before. Because, hey, for all you know, they may not have considered that before. And so that's something that it was really important to learn and to recognize that uh, you're there to develop people. You're not there to manage people. And a lot of leaders think, "Oh, I am managing." No, you're not a manager. Managers are good for one thing, and that's managing. That's just you manage. But leaders are a lot. It's important to recognize what they are, right? Leaders are there to encourage people to become better versions of what they were. So that's where I've seen people, and I don't see them as where they're at, but I see them for what we can help them become. So that's where it's important to recognize people's potential. In 5 minutes, it can be easy to develop an understanding of what somebody is like, what their character is like, how comfortable they are in different situations, and you can get a feel for that. So that I think as a leader, it's important to understand and to differentiate that managing is fine in its place, but true leaders, true managers even, are defined by how their employees and team members develop. And that's something that I think everyone needs to recognize and learn, because that's important. That's an important concept of leadership, is that you are there to encourage people to become better and to make sure that they're meeting certain benchmarks, obviously. But at the same time, those benchmarks need to be mutual. They need to be set by you and the person, right? You need to be having these conversations. But there's a way that people communicate and do well with that.